Two people, same starting point, same income. One saves every dollar, pays cash for everything, never borrows a dime. The other uses borrowed money to buy rental properties and build businesses. 20 years later, who is richer? The borrower, every single time. And here is the part that will genuinely shock you. The wealthiest people on earth carry hundreds of millions of dollars in debt on purpose. Not because they are struggling, because they understand something most of us were never taught. Debt is not the enemy. Bad debt is. And when used correctly, debt is the single most powerful wealth-building tool in existence. Today, we break down exactly how it works and how you can start using it. Most of us grew up hearing the same message. Debt is dangerous. Pay cash, cut up the credit cards, stay out of debt no matter what. And on the surface, that sounds responsible. But here is the hidden problem with that mindset. If you only grow using your own savings, you can only move as fast as your own paycheck allows. Earn $50,000 a year, invest $50,000 a year, maximum. But someone who understands good debt, they can access $1 million to invest without saving $1 million first. That gap is not luck. It is not talent. It is leverage. And leverage comes from debt. Refusing to use any debt is like insisting on walking everywhere when everyone else is flying. Safe? Yes. Fast? Absolutely not. So what actually makes debt good or bad? One question tells you everything. Does this debt buy something that grows in value or produces income? If yes, it could be good debt. If no, it is bad debt. Full stop. Bad debt. Credit cards for restaurants and holidays. A new car that loses 20% of its value the day you drive it home. A buy now, pay later outfit you forget about in 3 months. You pay interest and get nothing back. That interest is pure loss. Good debt. A mortgage on a rental property where the rent covers the loan and leaves profit. A small business loan for something that generates more revenue than it costs. An investment in education that directly raises your earning power. Let me show you this with real numbers, because the numbers are what make this undeniable. Two people, both have $50,000 saved. Call them Amy and Bob. Amy buys one rental house for cash, $50,000. Done. She earns roughly $200 profit per month after costs. Her money is now completely tied up in one property. Bob does something different. He uses his $50,000 as a 20% down payment on a $250,000 property. He borrows the other $200. The rent covers the mortgage and leaves a profit. But Bob still has options. He can repeat this same move with other properties. Same $50,000, multiple assets. Over time, Bob controls millions of dollars in real estate, but properties grow in value. The rents rise. His net worth compounds at a pace Amy simply cannot match because she can only buy one property at a time using savings alone. The wealthy have a simple rule. Good debt pays for itself and then some. The gap between what your asset earns and what your debt costs, that gap is free money working for you. This is leverage. This is what...
Amy was not wrong to be cautious, but Bob understood the math she did not. Hey, wait a minute. Here is a secret the wealthy use that almost nobody explains clearly. Imagine, you own a business worth $10 million, and you need $1 million for a new opportunity. What do? Most people would sell a piece of the business, but selling triggers capital gains tax, potentially 20 to 30% gone immediately. You lose hundreds of thousands to the government, and you own less of your business. A wealthy person takes a different route. They borrow $1 million using the business as collateral. They pay no tax because borrowing is not income. They keep 100% of their business. They pay 6% interest on the loan while investing the million into something returning 10%. They pocket the 4% difference. This is completely legal. This is how generational wealth is built and preserved. Debt becomes a tax management tool, not a sign of financial trouble. If this is already changing how you see money, subscribe to UnearthUS. Hit the bell. We release new money breakdowns every week. Now, I have to be straight with you about the risks, because debt is a double-edged sword, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. If the asset you buy with borrowed money loses value, you still owe the full loan. That is how people go bankrupt during recessions. If your rental sits empty for 6 months, the mortgage still arrives every month. If your business fails, the bank still wants its money back. This is why good debt requires 3 things. First, careful math before you borrow. Not optimistic math, realistic math. What happens if the worst case occurs? Second, an emergency fund. Never borrow without a financial cushion behind you. Third, a plan to manage the debt actively. When interest rates drop, the wealthy refinance. When rates spike, they pay it down. Debt is not set and forget. It is a tool that demands attention. The wealthy do not gamble with debt. They calculate with it. So what does this mean if you are not already wealthy? Good news, you do not need millions to start thinking this way.
3 moves, right now, today. Move 1, if you have high interest credit card debt, that is a financial emergency. Stop everything and eliminate it. That is bad debt, destroying you silently every single month. Move 2, before any future purchase, ask the one question: will this go up in value or produce income? If yes, and the interest rate is reasonable, debt may make sense. If no, save up and pay cash. That one question will save you from most financial mistakes. Move 3, consider using good debt for education that directly increases your earnings, a small business with a clear revenue plan, or a duplex where the second unit helps pay your mortgage. You do not need a billion-dollar empire to benefit from leverage. You just need to start thinking differently, one decision at a time. The wealthy are not afraid of debt because they understand the difference between an anchor and an engine. Bad debt is an anchor. It pulls you down, takes your future income, buys things that disappear. Good debt is an engine. It propels you forward, multiplies your returns, buys assets you could never afford alone. The goal is not to eliminate all debt from your life. The goal is to replace bad debt with good debt, one decision at a time. That shift from debt is always dangerous to debt is a tool is what separates people who build wealth from people who only dream about it. If this opened your eyes to something new, subscribe to UnearthUS and hit the bell. We unearth the money knowledge most people never get taught.